Hey guys, welcome back to the AI Artistry channel. Today we're going to play around with some AI art on the Bing Image Creator. We're going to make some landscape type of art, but we're going to do it in the style of Thomas Kinkade. If you're not familiar with Thomas Kinkade, he's a pretty famous artist that died about a decade ago, and he was really known for making landscape type of art with like old cottages and really detailed backgrounds of mountains and rivers and lakes, things like that. So we're gonna test some Thomas Kinkade style of art and see how it looks here. So this first one we're gonna try testing out is a cabin next to a lake with a moose and a rainbow and clouds in the sky. We'll see how this looks. And let's click into these and see how they look here. So there's our little cabin. We've got some bodies of water. You see the rainbow up here in the sky. It looks pretty good. Looks like some birds are flying in the air. You've got some clouds and some trees. You've got kind of a moose. It doesn't look like the best moose. They're kind of in the water, getting ready to drink some water or something like that. I love the detail of the smoke coming out of the chimney on the little cottage. It looks really interesting. Let's see what some of these other pictures look like here. You got an animal here on the side, and you've got some odd animal over here. The thing with AI art, at least on this Microsoft Bing Image Creator, is sometimes it struggles with certain details, and you can kind of see on some of these animals, they didn't turn out the best. Let's go to our next picture here. You've got, again, some birds and kind of an animal right here in the next to the little cottage by the water again. And this last one here, they all look pretty similar. None of them are great. There's little flaws in each of these. Let's change the prompt just a little bit though. Let's just say with a moose by the water. And let's throw in another couple of words here to sort of change the way that the AI might interpret this this prompt here. So we'll add highly detailed. We're going to keep it in a Thomas Kinkade style. And let's see if this really changes the way that the pictures look at all. Again, it takes a few seconds to load the image. Okay, this actually looks a lot better. Let's see when we zoom in here. Okay, so you've got an animal down here in the water. It's a much brighter picture now that we changed the prompt a little bit. Here's our rainbow in the sky, little cottage right here, some trees in the background, so pretty detailed. Similar picture. This one has some smoke coming out of the roof, but there's not actually a chimney there. Maybe the cottage is just on fire. Who knows? Again, it's not the best looking animal down here. This one looks pretty good. The antlers are maybe a little off on the moose here, but you've got a really interesting body of water kind of out here and a lot of detail, detailed trees. You can kind of see all of the different leaves and stuff coming off of these trees. You've got a little cottage and again, a rainbow up here. And then our last one, yeah, see the moose in each of these pictures doesn't look all that great, but they still are some pretty colorful Thomas Kinkade type of pictures. Let's try a different prompt now. Another type of art that Thomas Kinkade has done a lot is with lighthouses. So we're going to try a prompt here. Oh, in fact, we misspelled Thomas Kinkade's name. We'll fix that. But this is going to be a lighthouse next to the ocean overlooking a rocky ridge, large ocean waves, and bright colors. So let's see what we got here. We've got some pretty bright colors here. It doesn't quite scream Thomas Kinkade to me, but it still looks pretty good though. You've got a lighthouse, you've got a rocky ridge, and you've got some waves kind of crashing into the rocks. Really bright sun. And they all are pretty similar. Now that we've fixed the spelling here, let's take out bright colors and let's just see how it will look with a lighthouse and a sun setting in the background. And again, when you're waiting for your art to get created, they'll give you some little tips as your images are being created. That can help you when you're trying to create your art. Okay, this looks a little bit better here. So let's zoom in on some of these pictures. I really love the details of the waves splashing up against the rocks, and we see our lighthouse with some trees in the background, and the sun is getting ready to set. You've got some clouds in the sky. Let's go with a 1700 European castle next to a waterfall with a dark blue sky with the sun shining and some bright colors and highly detailed. We'll see what it kind of looks like here. And you can see the bright colors. Let's zoom in on these. So you've got I guess you could call this a European style castle, maybe from that era. It's a pretty big place. You got a pretty cool waterfall. In fact, you've got a series of waterfalls sort of cascading down into this water here, and you've got the sun up in the sky shining through some clouds. It looks like a pretty good picture though. And here we go. This one is kind of shifted to the other side with water coming down, although from here it's hard to tell where this water is actually coming from. Maybe not the best. It almost looks like it's coming underneath the house. And then this one here, it's actually the house or castle is actually sitting on top of the waterfall, kind of coming down into some rocks. So that's an interesting interpretation. And you can see the sun shining through the clouds into the blue sky. And this one looks pretty good here, off to the side again. This one's similar to our first picture here. I like the way the sun is in the background here, kind of peeking through the clouds. And you've got your little waterfall off to the side of the castle here. So it's not bad. It's definitely some bright colors. Let's move on to another sort of Kinkade style of art. This one is going to be some sailboats sailing in a lake with a rainbow in the sky and the mountains in the background. And when I think of Thomas Kinkade art, he's known as the artist of light and great colors. And so I really like the idea of putting rainbows in here. So here we've got our sailboats right here. We've got a rainbow coming down. Looks like they've added some birds in the sky. And I like the little mountains in the background. Some good colors in the trees along the banks of the body of water. That's a good looking picture there. This one is similar, a lot more sailboats in the water. Almost feels a little bit blurrier in this one. The third picture here, you got a lot more birds in the sky, and you've got 3 different rainbows on this picture here. And this one is a really odd kind of rainbow, almost like a full circle here. Maybe there's a pot of gold at the end here, and they both ends of this rainbow seem to meet in the same spot along this mountain here. You've got some people in the sailboats right here and just some other random sailboats. So these ones actually look better from afar before you zoom in. Another type of Thomas Kinkade that I really enjoy is some of his winter and kind of snowy pictures. So we'll see how this looks with some ice skaters on a lake. And yeah, a little small mountain town. In fact, we spelled mountain wrong here. Let's fix that. So let's zoom in on some of these pictures. So you've got a bunch of skaters kind of skating across the ice. You've got several little houses along the bank of this frozen lake or river here. I really like the mountains in the background covered in snow. And you've got some dark kind of snowy clouds in the sky and some snow-covered trees. I really like the way that this picture looks. This one's kind of similar. You got a couple skaters here, and you got some more trees and dark clouds. That looks pretty good. This is some odd skaters here. This person almost looks like they have a stick for an arm. Sometimes the AI art can struggle with just randomly putting human bodies in. If you ever try to have the AI art create fingers or a hand or something, it might look a little bit funny. And this final one here, you've got a couple skating, and looks like you might have somebody skating off in the distance, and you've got these houses next to this frozen body of water. Looks like maybe a church here, and I really love the mountains in all of these pictures, though. They look really good with some snow and these dark clouds above the mountains. So let's try one more Thomas Kinkade prompt here. This is going to be a long bridge leading to a busy city with boats in the water under the bridge and a bright full moon in the sky. And of course, this is going to be Thomas Kinkade style again. So let's see what this prompt will generate with this Bing AI image creator. So our first picture here, you see this nice long bridge kind of going almost like a little countryside town, almost into the big city. And you've also got a walking bridge down below, and you've got sailboats in the water, and you got a lot going on in this picture with a big sun in the sky. Let's see, our second picture here is a very different style of bridge. A lot of boats in the water, and you got the city in the background and a very, very bright. The prompt was a full moon, but it almost looks like it's a sun. And that one, that's a kind of oil painting looking type of picture. It doesn't really remind me of Kinkade necessarily. And then this one, okay, this one looks more like a moon, a big bright moon with a bridge here. It almost looks like that might be a giant lighthouse with, you've got some boats along the little side of the water here as well. I kind of like the way that the moonlight hits on the water as this boat is sort of following that path of the moonlight. So anyway, this is just a handful of ideas you can do to, take an artist that you like. In this case, it was Thomas Kinkade, and see if you can come up with something using AI image creator with Microsoft Bing to create something that looks similar. And some of these looked pretty good, some of them not so much. Some of them you can definitely tell are in the style of Thomas Kinkade, and some of the others are not quite in the Kinkade style, but these are pretty good pictures overall though. I think if I had to pick my favorite ones, it might be some of these snowy kind of ice skater type, or some of the first ones that we did as well were interesting, except that the moose didn't quite turn out. But anyway, if you liked the video or you learned something new from this, please like and subscribe, and we'll come out with some different videos in the future for other ways or ideas to use AI art on Microsoft Bing Image Creator. Thanks.